Crafters Christine Pennington, your Fun Stampers Journey Coach. I'm also known as Pennington Creates on Facebook and on Instagram. Today I'm stopping by to share a few tips on our Journey silks. Currently we host 14 different colors. They come in bottles the size of 0.5 ounces and they are $4.95 each. They last a long time. I've had this bottle a couple of years and I've used about 2/3 of it. I do a lot of classes and events, and so there's been an awful lot of projects made with this bottle, so I share that with you because this bottle will last you a long time. The first tip that I'm going to share with you is that you can use them just like inking up your stamp with an ink pad. I'm going to apply color and ink up my stamp with some Journey silk. Don't worry if it gets in between, because just like when you get up with your ink pad, that typically doesn't affect it at all. You wouldn't want to get a big pool in there for it to smudge or smear when you turn it over, but if you get some in there, that's okay. So I think I've gotten all of it here. Oops, check that L here. Looks like I might have missed a little spot here. There we go. Alright, and so now what I can do is just go ahead, stamp it onto my cardstock, and lift straight up, and now I have a stamped image on my card just using the silk. So I love that. Next tip is probably the way you would use it the most. I'd use this stuff for about a year, and I'll be honest, I was frustrated with it because I felt like I didn't have good control and all of my splats would be everywhere except for where I wanted it to be. And I would see other people's projects and I just couldn't figure out how they could get theirs to work so nicely. And I was at an event with Richard and he actually shared these tips. The tip that I can give you on using these is, because it is shaped like a fingernail polish bottle, we would naturally think, oh, clean it off, and then you know how we go to paint our fingernails. But I don't want you to do that when you are using it for your project to add your splashes. You want to take it and put it into the liquid and pull it straight out and not clean your brush off. I'm going to clean it off for a moment here just to show you something else. The other thing you want to also pay attention to is the shape of your brush. So if you notice there a little bit, it's starting to get this curve here. And so when I go to add it to my project, I want the curve to go to the direction I'm trying to get coverage. If I were to turn it upside down here and have the curve going up, when I go to tap it, the ink is going to go up and fly all over the place. And so then you're going to get frustrated because it's going to be everywhere but where you want it to be. And once I started doing both of these things, I was 100% happy with how my silk turned out on my projects. So let me go ahead and dip it in. And then with my brush tip going down, I'm just going to hold it, and with my pointer finger I'm going to tap, tap, tap and move it around in different spots in the card until I get that desired look that I want. And I think that looks pretty good. If I can bring that up a little more. So if you noticed, I've got some nice coverage, and wow, I hardly even got any on my my pad here, which is not usual. Usually I have a little bit outside of here, so that one worked really well. The other way I will use them is we carry a lot of these wooden elements in different shapes and sizes, and they are really fun to add to your projects as an element or an embellishment. And you can take your silks and you can paint them onto your wooden elements to give them, you know, a different color to match your card. And it's really fast drying, which is really, really nice. Now I would take the time to do the sides, but I won't do all of them right now, but because you get the idea. So now I have this beautiful wooden element that I could add to my card as I'm working on the background for the card that I'm designing. Now before I go, there's one last thing I want to also share, is sometimes your brush is not in this good of a shape. Sometimes it will become like it's spread out like my fingers, where it's webbed. If that happens, go ahead and take a mild hand soap and some water and just put it under water and wash this all up and get it nice and clean and dry it, and then put it back into your jar. What happens is sometimes some dried particles will get between the brush, pieces of brush here, and it will make it so that it doesn't, form together to make a nice brush for you. So that was one last tip I wanted to share with you. So let me set this aside, and I'm going to bring back that card that I had at the beginning, a card that I've been working on here. And with this one, I don't want any of my splats to go on this side of the card, so I have a scratch piece of paper here that I will lay across like this. And again, grab my silk, shake it up a little bit. Make sure it's always shaken well, because there is a metallic property to it that will settle to the bottom, and there's a ball bearing in there, and it mixes it up really well for you. And let me take this off, and there is my final project here. All I need to do with this card now is to mount it onto a card base, and it's all done. Alright, well, I hope that I've shared some fun tips for you, and that I've inspired you to get out your silks, to use them, and to practice with them. Thank you for stopping by, and I hope you have a blessed day.